Okay, once again you're watching PJ Collection Clothing, and in this video I'll be showing us how to cut and sew a senator top. It will have a front zip, a designer's front zip. This is a designer's front zip. It will have a side inner pocket, long sleeve with a pseudo cuff. When we get to that place, I'll show us what a pseudo cuff. Then these are the various measurements we'll be working with. The chest 40, the sleeve 20, the round sleeve 9, 13, 14, the neck 16, the top length is 42, and the shoulder is 18. Now, I won't do the cutting in this video. I've already done, you see the same pattern of cutting in our previous video. So you watch how to cut the same pattern. The only difference is the front zip we're using this time around, and we're also fixing an inner pocket, long sleeve, and pseudo cuff. Alright, so now these are front panel. To begin with, want to start proper now. These are front panel. Now, remember I said the front, there will be a zip at this front here. There will be a zip. So to start with, we keep this aside. Now, this is the zip I'll be using. Now you get two pieces of fabric that I'll use. These are the two pieces of fabric that I want to use. The width is 3 inch, while this other one as well is also 3 inch, or you can go with 3.5 inch. Then you get your cloth gum stay and you gum at the back as shown. You gum at the back. Then when you're through gumming, you fold 1/2 inch inside as shown. So you do the same thing for the second one. Now you now pick up your zip. Pick up your zip as shown. You place this as shown. You go to your sewing machine. Now watch carefully. This is the wrong side, which the point at where the cloth gums. So you now place it as shown, just by the side of the zip here. You now sew at the folded point. Watch carefully. You see the folded line. You sew this line. By the time you finish sewing, you now turn this. It will now be this way. The essence why we sewed at the back, we don't want the thread to be showing at the front. Remember, we are doing a yoke. The zip goes with the yoke. Alright, now you also pick up this, you turn this. Remember, the folded are facing this way. You sew at this point, then when you're through, you turn this. So it will be very close as shown. So we'll do that now. Okay, so as you can see, we've done the sewing. The essence of we doing this, we don't want the zip, the thread to be showing. So we're through. Don't bother about the length. We'll do that later. Alright, so the next thing, I'll fold this in. Take note. I'll fold this in. The distance I want to use is 1 inch. 1 inch. So I'll be folding this in 1 inch. So I'll iron this down. I also fold this other part in. Remember, it's 1 inch. We're trying to make the placket for the front panel. Okay, so here we go. So this is the front panel. Okay, let me remove the excess. So I'll quickly use my hemi gum to gum this down. Okay. So I also gum these other parts. Remember, there are different patterns of making this. There are different methods of making this. Okay. So we'll keep this aside. Alright, so we have this. Okay. So these are front, so we'll keep this aside. Okay, now we move over to our front panel. So keep that aside. Now these are front panel. Remember we said the center there will be a front zip. We'll fix this in. So What you now do next, you pick this. This is the wrong side. Take note. This is the wrong side. Okay. Remember the width of the placket we did for the zip was 2 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. That is 2 inch. So now this is the front side. So watch carefully. I'll be cutting out this. Remember, I want to fix that placket. So I'm folding ½ inch. Take note. I'm folding ½ inch that I'll cut out. Okay. So I'll watch carefully. I'll be cutting it off. Okay, the distance here will be 10 inch. Remember, I'm using 10 inch. Now, take note, I'm now cutting off this way as shown. As you can see, so we cut off this. Okay, you'll be wondering why we're doing this. Remember, we said we're fixing, so to arrive at this. Arrive at something like this. So we now place this under. So this will now be under as shown. As you can see, making sure that the zip. So this is how you arrive. So let's quickly fold this. The edges are not neat, so we fold this to be neat. So this is the wrong side. So you fold the edges so it will be very, very neat. So you fold these edges down. You fold this other part in. You also fold these other 2 edges. So let's do that now. Okay, so as you can see, I've done the edges. I've folded the edges round. Like I told you, you fold these edges, you fold this, you fold this, you also fold this. So I've done the folding round. So when you're through with this, you open this as shown. Then remember, the width here was 2 inch. You folded to, sorry, the width here was 2 inch. So now place this, you put this under, making sure that the zip is at the middle. Okay. Remember that the opening too should be exactly 2 inch. Okay, as you can see. So you now go to your sewing machine. You now sew this. You sew this. You sew this. You sew this round. So doing that. Once we're through with that, we're now through with our front panel. So the next thing we'll be doing is to join it to the back. Okay, so at this stage, we're now through with our front panel. We fix the zip, as you can see. We've already fixed the zip. So we now want to do the joining. Now, this is our back panel, and this is the wrong side. This is an inner yoke, designer's inner yoke, which I used. I've already showed us in our previous videos how to cut this. Now, this is our back yoke. Okay, so now we want to do the joining. So as usual, you place the back, the wrong side facing you, and the front, this is the front, wrong side to the wrong side facing you. And now this is our back yoke. So pick the three of them at the shoulder point. Remember, we'll sew off ½ inch. So that's what I'm doing now. Okay, we'll do the same thing for the other parts. So pick 1, 2, 3. Remember, we're sewing off ½ inch. Try to make sure that the 3 are equal. The shoulders, both 3 are equal. Okay, so when you're through with this, now watch carefully. Now turn this, turn this. It was this way, so now turn this as shown. Now top stitch this shoulder point first. Top stitch this point, both sides. The reason why we're top stitching that point is to make the shoulder point well relaxed. but still the second one as well. Okay, when you're through with that, now close the yoke. Close, remember it's still open. Your yoke, the back yoke is still open, so now close it down. You sew it down as shown. While trying to sew the yoke, make sure it's properly relaxed. Okay? Trying to make sure that it's properly relaxed as shown. Okay, so at this stage we're now through fixing the front, the back, and a zip. So the next video I'll be showing us is how to cut the sleeve. Alright, so at this stage we're through fixing the yoke. Alright, so the next thing, remember, you trim off this part. Remember, we're piping the neck round. It's a pipe neck, so you zip this down. Take note, you zip it down. So you now trim off. Okay, we'll do this later on. Let's leave this part. Let's focus on the armhole. Now, these are armhole regions. Let me trim it a bit. Okay, now let's check how many inches here. So you start from this point and you measure down, down, down. This is 11 inch. Take note, 11 inch. Now, always take note that the front will be deeper than the back. Take note, the front will be deeper than the back. So with half inch, so I'm making the front deeper. The reason why we're doing this, remember, you're doing it for both sides. Half inch. You're also doing it for this other part. The reason why we're doing this is to avoid this part to be squeezed or rumpled. Take note. Okay, so you put a notch, fix a notch there. That is a notch. So at this stage, we now want to cut our sleeve. Okay, so at this stage, I'll be showing us how to cut our sleeve. Now remember, the person's sleeve is, the length of the sleeve is 28. Now the round sleeve at this other part, the wrist, is 9. Then the middle part is 13. Then the bicep, which is the upper part, is 14. Now to cut our sleeve, first thing you do, you fold your fabric into 2. Fold your fabric into 2. Now, remember the armhole that we measured of our top was 11 inch. Was it 10.5 or 11 inch or thereabout? Okay. Now you fold your fabric, making sure that the folding, if it is 10 inch, make sure that the folding is more than 10 inch. Let's say 12 inch. If it is 11, make sure it's 12, 13. And make sure that your folding is bigger than what you measured there. Okay. So now after that, we have the outer sleeve and the inner sleeve. The outer sleeve is longer than the inner sleeve, within 3 to 5 inch, both for kids and adults. In this case, we're using 3 inch. If you use 4 inch, okay, 5 inch, okay. Outer sleeve, inner sleeve. The difference is this point here is the outer sleeve, while this inside there is the inner sleeve. Now, the very first line I'll be marking is my outer sleeve. Marking a straight line, which is my outer sleeve. The next line I'll be marking is the inner sleeve. Take note, I'm using 4 inch. This is the inner sleeve. Okay, I'll be making a slant line as shown, making a slant line from this other sleeve to this other sleeve. Now, assuming this is the middle, so I'll be moving up ½ inch, I'll be moving down ½ inch. So you connect that with an inverted X as shown. So watch carefully, passing through this, passing through this. Okay, so we've done the cutting of our sleeve. Now, remember the armhole of our top was 10 inches. Okay, Now we've done the cutting. We said that when we were measuring the armhole of our top, it was 11 inch or 10 inch. So if you start from here, this point, start from here and you measure. Remember the armhole of our top was 10 inch, so you make sure that this is more than 10 inch. So this is 10. Sometimes when you're joining your sleeve to your top, you notice that the sleeve is shorter than the top. So remember the armhole we measured was 10. In this case, I'm using 11. It should be longer. Alright. The reason why it's longer because remember we made the inner part to be deeper than the front part. So if you measure 10, you'll not arrive exactly at 10, meaning your sleeve. So you make sure that your sleeve, if the armhole there was 10, your sleeve should be 11 inch. Alright, so okay, we said the upper part was 14, so this is 7 plus half 1 inch sewing allowance. The down part was 13, 6.5 plus 1 inch sewing allowance. Then now the sleeve length, let's talk the sleeve length. Remember, I'm making a pseudo cuff. I'll show us what a pseudo cuff is at the end of the sewing. So the pseudo cuff, the width is 3 inch. So you subtract the 3 inch. Take note. You subtract the 3 inch down. The length is 28. So I'm marking 28. Then ½ inch for sewing and ½ inch for the cuff, the pseudo cuff. So you cut at this point. Now take note, we said our wrist, this point here, we said this point here is 9 inch, while at this point here, remember at this point we are making a pseudo cuff. So this point here is wider than this point on fold. This point here is wider than this point. So if this point is 10 inch, there will be 9. So if this point you're using 9, this point should be using 10 inch. Remember, we're making a pseudo cuff. So I'll be leaving this down part 10 inch. Watch carefully, 10 inch plus 1 inch sewing allowance. Take note, we are making a pseudo cuff. So instead of using this point, we are using this point because with this point need to be free on our sleeve. So you can slot in your hand freely, easily. So this point is 9, this point is more than 9, so you use 10 at this point here. Take note. Alright, so we're using 10 there. You also have this sewing allowance. Then you now connect this point to this other point down. So this is how we cut our long sleeve for our pseudo. So we're through with our sleeve. When you do this, use this to trace the second one. Now to our cuff, pseudo cuff. Now remember, while we are cutting our sleeve, we said the width or the height was 3 inch. So you get your strong paper gum stay. This is a strong paper gum stay, and the width here is 3 inch. As you can see, 3 inch, and the length here I'm using is 11 inch. Why is 11? Remember this point here is 10 inch. You now add 1 inch for overlapping, half inch. That is, you still arrive at 10 inch. So we have 3 by 10. So you place it on the fabric you want to use at the wrong side and you iron. When you're through ironing, now turn this. This is the good side. You turn it to the good side as shown and you iron this. So you now sew this point. You also sew this other second point. So you do this for both. So let's do that now. Okay, so as you can see, I'm through sewing this stuff. So you now turn this in. Turning this in. So when you're through, you press this down. Okay. Remember, you will leave at least. Remember, watch carefully. You will leave at least a 1/4 inch, as you can see. You leave at least a 1/4 inch, as you can see, 1/4 inch. Now remember, we said it's a pseudo cuff. So what to do is, remember the full length here is 11 inch. So you now fold this. Watch carefully. You now fold this, overlapping it with at least ½ inch. So you now arrive at 10 inch. So this is how we use to fix it, making it in form of a suit like. So make sure that this is 10" on fold. So you can see 5". All right, so this is what we use to fix to our sleeve. So we keep it this way. You can just tack it a little if you want to tack it. So you can just tack it a little. So this is what we use to fix to our sleeve. So the next video I'll be showing us how to fix our sleeve and join the body. Then when we're through fixing the sleeve, I also show us how to fix this pseudo cuff to the sleeve. Okay, so at this stage I'll be showing us how to fix our sleeve. Now this is our sleeve, the right part. Remember, in this case there is no placket, so you can use any side. There is no left, there is no right, unlike a normal cuff sleeve. Okay, now this is a notch, making sure that there is a notch for the top and a notch for the sleeve, making sure that both notches are equal. And remember, watch carefully, we are sewing ½ inch down. Watch carefully. If you take a look at this point, you see that both sleeves are equal. If you take a look, both sleeves are equal. Okay, so you sew this for the remaining parts. This is how you fix your sleeve. Okay, you're fixing the remaining parts. So this is how to fix our sleeve. So the next thing, I'll be weaving the cloth. Okay, so I'm through with the weaving. So we now want to couple our top proper. So to start with, I'm starting with the sleeve, making sure that this is a good side closing and this is the wrong side facing you. Remember, we said that this point here, this wrist is 9, at this point here is 10. So I'll be using this measurement because you fix this through, so it will be a bit tighter. So we'll use 10 here. So this is 10". So I'm sewing 10" down. Remember, the upper part is 14, so when you get to this point, you're sewing 14. Now, remember, we are making a scimitar top with a side inner pocket. Remember, there will be an inner pocket. So you sew, this is the armhole, watch carefully at this point. You sew down from this point, and you stop at 7. Sometimes you can stop at 6 if you want to. Then tighten that place very well. Now skip. You skip down to another. Let's measure. Make sure that the distance here is 7". Okay. So make sure that place is tight, and you continue the sewing down to where you sew your slip and stop. Alright. The reason why we skip, because we said we're making an inner pocket, side inner pocket. Okay, so move over to the second part. Remember, the sleeve, the round sleeve is 10". So this down part here is 10". Remember. Okay. Remember, the chest is 40. Remember, so at this point you measure your chest from this point. Watch from this point here, from this other chest line down. So as you can see, 20. So you sew this down. Remember, when you get to point of 7, you stop and you skip, because we make a side. Okay. Remember, when you get to 7, you stop there. Then you skip this thing. Skip the middle down. Make sure the distance there is 7. The same way with the other one. continue. Remember the point from the armhole down to where you see and stop for a long top. I'm using 18 inch for the stopper. Okay. So the next thing I'll quickly show before we move over is to show us how to fix our cord. So we turn this. Okay, so at this stage I'll be showing us how to fix our pseudo cuff. These are pseudo cuff. Alright, one goes to the left, one goes to the right. Now this is our right, because this opening here, this part here, I just use hemi gum to gum it there. So this is facing the right, this is the right. And if you take a look at this part here, this opening is facing your left. So this is your left, this is your right. So let's begin with the right panel. Now, the first thing you need to do is you place this as shown. Take note, you place this as shown. Watch carefully. Now, remember this is the opening. This is the opening. Take note, this is the opening. Now, I try to iron the middle out of our sleeve. This is the middle of our sleeve, making sure that the middle of the opening, that is the rough edges. Take note, this is the rough edges there. Making sure that the middle is in line, and this is a good side. Take note, this is a good side of the sleeve. So making sure that the middle is in line with the middle. So you place it as shown. Let me take it again. This is our pseudo cuff. This is our pseudo cuff. Now just try to iron the middle line out there. So make sure that, remember this is a good side. Make sure, and this is the rough side facing you. Make sure that the middle is in line with the middle here. So we just stack it a little. Let's just stack there down a little. Remember it's ½ inch that will do. So stack there down a little just to keep it in place. So now keep that. So you put your hand inside, turn that in, turn that in. Turn that in. So be able to sew it properly well. Okay, I've done the turning in. So I've turned this in. So I want to sew it from the inside, just the way you sew like your jogger's band. So remember there was an ½ inch depth back. So you continue from that point there, ½ inch. Remember you're sewing a ½ inch round. Sewing this round ½ inch. So we're trying to sew this round ½ inch. Okay, so at this point we're now through fixing this. So this one we weave it round as well. So now let's bring it back. So this is how you fix your pseudo cuff. This is how you fix it. So this is how it will look like. You can see, this is how it will look like. Now you have to fix a fancy button at this point. So at this point, okay, we said you have to fix a fancy button looking in form of like a suit-like sleeve there. So you fix 1, 2, depending on how many you want to fix. So you fix it there. So this is how to fix your pseudo cuff. So you do this for the second part as well. Okay, so at this stage you now want to do the folding and also fixing of the inside pocket. Remember we're making a side inner pocket, but before we do that, let's fold the down part. So remember we added 2 inch while cutting. So I'm folding off the 2 inch. So that is the 2 inch. You'll be folding now. You sew. Okay, fold this down. Then you fold these edges as well. Watch carefully. You fold these edges down as shown. This was the sewing allowance that you left at that down part. Fold. So you fold the down part as well, making sure that the down edges are equal as shown. Fold it, and then you fold this other part too in. So when you've done this, you now sew this round. You go to your sewing machine, you now sew this round. You also sew this point, you sew it round. So let's do that now. Okay, so at this stage, I'll be showing us how to fix the inner pocket, the pocket bag for the inside. Now, before you do that, when you're through sewing every other part, you fold it down. Remember, we added 2 inch for our folding, so you fold it down, you fold the edges as shown, then you sew it round. I've done that in our previous videos. So now, this is the inside. Remember, this is the wrong side. Now remember, there was an opening. There was an opening here that we opened. This is the opening that we open. Now you iron this open as shown. You iron this open, press it down with your electric iron properly. Then when you're through, you place your hemi gum at the down part here. Just place your hemi gum there. Place this other part as shown, and iron it down properly. Okay, so when you're through with that, now we've ironed that down well, neatly as shown. So when you're through with that, now you get your pocket bag. Now this is the pocket bag I'll be using. As you can see, there's a touch of black. The reason why I used the black is because the fabric was not enough. The fabric was not enough, so I had to use the black. Then I used the blue at the center. That is why we had the mixture of black, the fabric. But in a situation whereby you have enough fabric, you don't need to mix it all around. So I just placed the blue at the center and I sewed it round. So now this is our back. Remember, this is the opening. So you now pick this. You make sure that, now remember, this is where the slit starts from. As you can see, this is where the slit starts from. So you make sure that your pocket bag starts from the point of the slit, this point where the slit is, that is the opening. So you make sure that your pocket bag starts from that point, that is where the slit is, that is where it stops, down to, and also make sure that it covers, this is where the inner pocket starts from. Make sure it covers that point as well, as shown, and you're making sure that the blue is at the middle. So when they will open it, they will be seeing the blue. So make sure that this blue is at the middle. So you close this down. Now you get your hemi gum. You try to gum this round. You gum this round before we sew. Okay, place this at this other spots. Okay, you also place this at this other spots. Okay, then you also place this at this other spot as shown. Okay, then you also place this. So let's press this down so it will gum properly. Okay. Alright, so we're not through. So now go to your sewing machine. After doing this, you go to your sewing machine. You open this, you make sure you open it. Just make sure you open it. So you open this, go to your sewing machine, and you now start from this point and you sew it round. You now sew this round. You go to your sewing machine. So this is how you fix your inner pocket. So let's do this now. Okay, so as you can see, I'm trying to sew the inner pocket. You make sure that you remove every other part, so to avoid sewing other parts of our top. That is what I'm trying to shift every other part out. Okay. So in the next and final video, I'll be showing us how to fix the piping neck. Okay, so at this stage, I'll be showing us the final step, that is fixing of our piping. They will be piping the neck round. I already showed us in our previous video how to make this, how to cut our bias format. Now watch carefully. Remember, this is zip, so you turn this down, you zip this down, you zip this down. Okay, then you now trim this thing back as shown. Trim this. Okay, all right, so this is how it will look like. Remember, the neck circumference is 16, so every other thing remains intact. So we now go and pipe this round with our bias. I've already showed us in our previous video how to go about this. So we now start with this. You now place this as shown. You make sure that, look, you make sure that this should at least exceed beyond the zip a little, so that by the time you zip up, it will hang there, not this other way around. Take note, not this other way around. You make sure that you exceed a little, so by the time you zip up, it will hang there. If you don't, if you should keep it this way, and by the time you zip up, it will pull off. So it's best to take it. So let's go to our sewing machine and do this. Okay, so at this stage, I'll be showing us how to fix this. So we'll zip this down. So remember, these are bias we used to pipe. So you now place this as shown. Like we said, make sure you exceed the zip point at least just a little. So by the time you zip up, it won't pull out. Okay. You're trying to pipe this round. Make sure that you open this and you put them in. Okay, when you get to this other edge, remember this is the other edge, you cut off at least, leaving at least ½ inch, as you can see. Then you fold it in. You fold it in. Then you continue the sewing. Try to make sure that these other parts, both of them are equal. Try to make sure that the two edges are equal, as you can see. Make sure that the two edges at this point, both of them are equal. Or you try to zip up, then make sure that they are equal, as you can see. Okay, so at this point they are equal. So you continue and you sew down. Okay, so at this stage we're not through with piping, so I had to run another line again. So you run another line again. If you want to, sometimes you can run like 3. So this is how to pipe our neck. This is how to make a simple top, long sleeve pseudo placket, piping of neck, front zip, side inner pockets, and a long top. Once again, you're watching PJ Collection Clothing online class.